As the First Contact War comes to an end, humanity tries to improve their relationship with the newly encountered race known as the Turians, as well as all the other races within the Citadel. After many attempts of reconciling what had happened previously, relations did get better. Trade links opened and opportunities for humanity arose within the Council and within general politics. As Commander Shepard and General Anderson put their focus toward building the Alliance's strength and working with the Council to help build humanity's influences, one organisation hidden from everyone else is gradually building influence out within the stars. An organisation that is still somewhat bitter about the events of the First Contact War and wants to make it so that humanity holds the mantle and constantly evolves to be better than the rest. That group would be known as Cerberus, a human survivalist paramilitary group that would do anything to put humanity first, not worrying or caring about how they are viewed by other races. With the principle of humanity comes first no matter the cost of other races, this group would be deemed extremely dangerous as they go on to do illegal experiments on old enemies such as the Turians, as well as unaware civilians. Run by a person only known as the Illusive Man, this group would only keep growing and growing until they became a dangerous foe, not only to the alien races of the Citadel, but to the other groups of humanity. But how did Cerberus form? Who is the Illusive Man? Why did he decide to start this organisation? And what was their ultimate goal? Well, in this video we look over some of the events that helped build Cerberus, look at the Illusive Man's origins, and tell the lore behind the dark and elusive organisation known as Cerberus. Throughout the universe during the 2180s, before and during the events of the Reaper invasion, the races of the Citadel would hear rumours of a man known only as the Illusive Man. Every bit of intel about him, every document sent, every manifesto would only be labelled as the Illusive Man with no name attached. This would cause some to question if this person was real, if it was a group of individuals, or if this Illusive Man had a real name. Well, before Cerberus came to be and grew in power, the Illusive Man was just like any ordinary person like you or I, taking part in this journey into the wider universe. Back in the mid-2100s, the Illusive Man was just an ordinary civilian with a family back home and was named Jack Harper. Harper was a hard-fought mercenary and was involved within the First Contact War, serving under the command of General Williams, Ashley Williams' grandfather, not father, which is what I mistakenly said in my First Contact War video. Serving on Shang-Chi, Jack was put together with fellow soldiers Ben Hislop and Eva Corey and were tasked with the mission of capturing a Turian general named Decius Artorius. Jack and his team were successful on this mission and captured the general, bringing him back to General Williams to interrogate him and find out information on troop movement patterns and other bits of key information that would help humanity in their war effort. However, this team along with General Williams discovered that this Turian and his squad were up to something else. In fact, they were seeking out a supposed artifact located on Shang-Chi. Decius, however, states that if they go looking for this artifact, that they must be careful as they do not know the power it holds. Jack and Ben go looking for this artifact, unknowing what it could look like or what it could do. Getting to the cave where the artifact was located, Jack and Ben find it is guarded by hooded figures who become hostile to the approaching soldiers. Jack and Ben were able to take out the mysterious figures and find the artifact. However, the communication is cut off. It is just them and this strange, foreign-looking artifact. As the two approach the guards to get a better look at them, the artifact is suddenly set off. A bright light is sent out all over the land, blinding Eva in the process, who is currently guarding the Turian prisoner. Ben is stuck in the field of the artifact and is taken over by its powerful beam. Jack tries to save his fellow soldier and gets pulled into it as well. The beam is extremely strong, knocking out Jack completely and sadly killing Ben in the process. After waking up later, Jack notices that Decius has taken over control, taking advantage of the bright light sent out by the artifact to overpower Eva. Decius orders his soldiers to load up the artifact to their ship, along with the captured humans of Eva, Ben, and Jack. Waking up once again, Jack is within a prison cell on board a Turian ship. He struggles and tries to overpower the guards, but is told to calm down. He is there for his own protection, nothing more. Suddenly, the door opens, and a Turian soldier known as Sarin Arturius brings Eva into the cell. After some harsh words, Saren introduces himself and tells Jack that he is in perfect health. However, Eva cuts in to say they are being taken to the Turian homeworld of Palaven to be held as prisoners in the camp. Saren, however, corrects her and shows them what is outside of the ship. It is the Arcturus station, the capital of the Systems Alliance. The First Contact War is now over, and they are being taken home to General Williams. Taking back both Jack and Eva, General Williams states that he is resigning, but says Jack should not give up and should track down Desolus and get that artifact. Before this, however, Desolus in a conversation starts speaking in a weird language no one understands, apart from Jack. The artifact seems to have been able to help him understand new languages he hadn't heard before. But Jack also experiences other issues. Collapsing on their ship, he states to Eva when conscious again that he's been having visions of destruction, and it is all linked to the artifact, stating there's only one place to go, and that is Ilium, stating that he can feel that the artifact is on the surface of that planet. As they get there, Jack starts asking the locals about where this artifact could be, his eye pupils now glowing a weird cyber blue colour as he ventures over Ilium on his search. Getting to the location, Jack and Eva are ambushed by Desolus and Saren, as well as a group of hooded individuals who knew they were coming. Jack and Eva are captured by one of these hooded figures. Its hood gets taken off. It's Ben, but he's been transformed into a cybernetic entity. Desolus looks closely at Jack and notices his pupils are the same as Ben's. But why was he different? Jack and Eva are taken back to Desolus' ship and are taken to Palaven. Desolus wants to know what makes Jack so different, why he was able to survive whereas Ben died in the process. Desolus starts planning something. They drag the artifact to the temple within Palaven, raising it into the sky. But before anything can happen, Desolus is desperate to learn more about it from Jack. But Jack is adamant he knows nothing about what is going on with him or the artifact. Jack is later sent to an observation room to sit there and wait. In the room is ancient writing on the wall in a mysterious language. Days pass, then it finally hits Jack. He knows what is going on, and he is shocked to discover what it is. As soon as this happens, Desolus enters the room knowing full well that Jack has learned of his plan. Desolus, utilizing the monolith, wants to create a legion of perfect Turians. This is their future and what helps them become a dominant force. With Jack's help, he can allow them to successfully transform their race into what Jack has become and turn them into Metaturians who combine cybernetics to their builds. An army of super soldiers. That was Desolus' plan. Jack refused though. He could not help in this plan. It would be suicide to help. Jack states Desolus doesn't understand the monolith's true purpose and the destruction it'll bring to everything, but the general ignores him and attacks the two. Running away, Jack tries to convince Saren that Desolus is going to destroy the Turians and the monolith is too dangerous to be held within their temple. Jack's convincing works and Saren turns against Desolus, declaring a bioweapon emergency and an orbital strike on the temple. After all hell breaks out, Jack escapes the area carrying Eva but leaving behind Ben. He's too far gone. Saren is awake and Jack tells him to warn his people of what will happen if they continue with the artifact. It is down to them to look after their own kind. Months pass and Jack sadly is the last of his squad left. Ben and Eva are gone, and as he watches their memorial service, he remembers what Desolus said and believed him to be right, that the stars did look welcoming, warm, and teeming with places to explore, full of knowledge and riches to be had. But Jack also realised that humanity was on the brink of something, a large test, and it had to better itself if it were to survive the upcoming destruction, knowing full well that they will also not be welcomed by the other races. With this knowledge, he started writing a manifesto, which would be labelled as the survivalist rhetoric written by an Illusive Man. This manifesto would go on to state that humanity needed a Cerberus to guard humanity for the upcoming war and defend the Charon relay. It would also say that humanity needs to survive and adapt because anything else will be inhuman. This Illusive Man will illuminate these dark places by improving their technology and tools to allow them to survive and better humanity. One day, humanity will take its rightful throne within the stars. The recording ends, and Jack Harper no longer takes that name and goes by the identity of the Illusive Man, and now begins to set up his organization known as Cerberus, humanity's only means of survival. While Cerberus was extremely small at this point in time during the 2160s, this did not mean that they were harmless. In fact, you could say their operations were extremely dark and brutal, using acts of sabotage, assassination, media manipulation, and espionage to get the knowledge, power, and funds that they needed to build what they had. However, whilst operating undercover for the most part, it was in 2165 where Cerberus became known to humanity all over the systems. This was because of a failed operation where operatives tried to steal antimatter from the cruiser SSV Geneva. Interrogating the sole surviving operator, he would go on to name his sponsor as Cerberus, which actually benefited them massively, as after this event, recruitment for the organization rose massively. Cerberus then continued to utilize their operatives and conducted more devastating acts of manipulation and seizing power all over the systems. Within the Eldfell Ashland energy facility within Yando, for example, Cerberus exposed the colonists to dust form element 0 by exploding a freighter over them. This dust completely mutated the civilians in this area and 2 other areas, causing the children of the colonists to have birth defects as well as biotic births, transforming them into deadly individuals who could use their abilities to tear enemies apart if they so wished. Following that event, 1 year later, Cerberus went on to assassinate Pope Clement XVI using toxic material coated rosary beads. Here they would then replace Pope with Leo XIV, who funnily enough had views very similar to Cerberus's, which were to militarize humanity. Alongside this, the other pro-human party known as the Terra Firma Party had their leadership candidate Claude Monod assassinated in 2173 to be replaced by Charles Saracino, allowing Cerberus another puppet to control this party. But they didn't stop there. Cerberus went on to fund an assassin known as Michael Moser Lang, who would go on to gun down the United North American States President Enrique Aguila, as well as the Chinese People's Federation Premier Ying Qiang in 2176, which then led to the sabotaging of the starship MSV Anaxara in 2182, resulting in the death of the Turian hierarchy warhawk Reherix Ursivus. Cerberus were getting busy all over human space, and they were using all their new power and influence to grow their numbers and increase their funding to help their research. However, with all these new authority figures put into place, the Illusive Man continued to undertake dark experiments to force humanity into progressing forward and find new technology and scientific research for weaponry. However, in 2183, Cerberus came under a lot of fire as some of their even darker secrets were uncovered by Commander Shepard when venturing over the systems. When exploring Novaria, for example, Commander Shepard and his team will uncover an old enemy of the Citadel being experimented on by the Cerberus organization, or at least hired by them. Here, the Rachni, the alien species that scared the Turians so much that eventually led to the First Contact War, were brought back to life and were accidentally released, almost causing an extinction event once again. But Cerberus continued to research them in Depot Sigma 23, uncaring about their past and what they could do. On top of that, they also went on to study the terrifying creatures known as the Thorian Creepers on Binthu, but it was later in Shepard's adventure where he uncovered their true brutality. First, when exploring the settlement on Chaska, he would go on to see dragon's teeth outside the base, and then when venturing in would witness husks, humans who had been experimented on and turned into cybernetic creatures with no signs of humanity left in them. With these things popping up more often, Shepard would begin searching for more strange events going on within human space. Here he would be told about scientists going missing out within different research facilities, and it needs to be investigated. After locating some of the now dead scientists, Shepard would uncover that this was all because of one man known as Corporal Toombs. Toombs claimed that these scientists were Cerberus owned, and Cerberus had lured Threshamores to the colony of Akuze, causing a massacre there, Toombs being one of the only survivors. After this, Toombs claimed he was captured and was subjected to brutal experiments by all of the scientists, like Threshamore blood being injected into his veins just to see what it did. To Cerberus, he was just a lab rat. But this wasn't the only Threshamore event in which Cerberus was involved. Whilst exploring the system again, Shepard would be ambushed by another Threshamore that had previously wiped out an Alliance unit. After killing them all, it was clear that this was set up to be a trap to capture Admiral Cahorn's men. After telling the Admiral about this ambush, he would go on to discover, thanks to the Shadowbrooker, that it was Cerberus behind these attacks. They were using the bodies once again for their experiments to progress their research even further. But now with this knowledge, the Admiral was doomed. Cerberus had found him. and his life was over. His body was held within the research facility on Binthu. But with this research found by the Admiral, it was clear to Shepard and now the Alliance that Cerberus was conducting illegal and unethical experiments of its own kind. They had gone fully rogue and were now a separate Black Ops group, distancing themselves from the Alliance. But with the Battle of the Citadel now in full swing, the Alliance couldn't focus on the experiments and betrayals of Cerberus. The focus was on taking out the Reaper, known as Sovereign, as well as the mind-controlled old acquaintance of Jack Harper's, Saren. This allowed Cerberus to continue their work and continue to grow in numbers, as well as build up their technology and weaponry, helping them to become far more advanced than the Alliance. However, after the attack, the Council started stating that the attack was nothing more than just the Geth. The Illusive Man, however, became skeptical and knew there was something more to this, as Geth couldn't be this organised and successful. He had to know what was truly happening, but realised it would eventually come out. In the meantime, however, he had another mission on his mind. After what Shepard had done for humanity, creating channels within the galaxy, the Illusive Man realised that holding back information about the attack would only cause mistrust and suspicion amongst the other races. Because of this, he decided to push on with a project called the Ascension Project, a training program for biotic humans, the humans that were first hit by the effects of the Element Zero incident issued by Cerberus in 2170. The project was set up in 2176 at the John Grissom Academy to make deadly biotic soldiers that could work for Cerberus. With this project fully in action, the Illusive Man focused on getting more information, utilising any of the other races he could get to. The Illusive Man was also extremely skeptical about all activity the alien races were doing, especially the Quarians and their migrant fleet. Here he planned an operation on the migrant fleet to try and get their transmission codes so he could monitor all of their vessels. However, this operation went terribly wrong. After trying to ambush a Quarian crew, they did manage to capture one, but the Quarian they captured and brought to Omega became incredibly ill with a terrible sickness that made the Quarian incomprehensible, meaning the mission was an absolute failure. After this, betrayals started happening left, right and centre, mainly from an operative called Pell, who tried to sell one of the Illusive Man's prodigies, Ginny and Grayson, to the Collectors after being offered a fantastic offer for the biotic girl. After this initial failed attack, eventually through the help of an exiled Quarian on Omega, Cerberus were able to start an attack on the flotilla ship known as the Idina to get those codes. The Quarians defended hard and hit back on Cerberus, eventually sending them back. However, in the process, Paul Grayson was able to find the traitor known as Pell and kill them and save his daughter. Soon after this once again failed mission, Paul realised that Cerberus was only going to use his daughter as a weapon for their army. Because of this, he left Cerberus immediately. The Illusive Man realised that whilst he had all this power, influence, funds and weaponry, he needed something bigger, something that was a statement for Cerberus, especially as he just found out the truth about the attack, and it was in fact the Reapers behind it, dooming the entire galaxy as we know it. There was only one hope, the hero of the Citadel, Commander Shepard. If Commander Shepard disappeared or couldn't help, humanity was doomed. But as Shepard was venturing through space, the SSV Normandy was attacked by a collector ship and destroyed, killing Shepard in the process. The Illusive Man could not lose Shepard. They were the only one that could stop the Reapers. Shepard's body was recovered by the Shadowbroker and luckily saved by Liara Tassoni, as well as a drill named Ferron, an informant Cerberus tried to hire a few times. Here they formed an alliance with the Illusive Man to recover Shepard's body. If they didn't, Shepard's body would have been sold to the Collectors. Now with the possession of Shepard's body after lots of negotiating with his external sources, the Illusive Man ordered Officer Miranda Lawson to monitor and work on Commander Shepard's body, bringing it back to full working order, whilst keeping Shepard's human traits in place. This kick-started the Lazarus project, which was solely for the restoration of Commander Shepard. Utilising all their research and technology, Cerberus, after 2 years and spending over 4 billion credits, was able to finally bring Shepard back to life and in full working order. It was time for Cerberus to utilise humanity's greatest hero to fight back against the Reapers. Now, with Commander Shepard working for Cerberus, it was clear that they were at the forefront of humanity's war against the Reapers. Only they were willing to do something about it, and with all the funding they had at their disposal, as well as their large arsenal, they were humanity's one hope. After Shepard gathered their forces, they witnessed the brutality of Cerberus once again. Experimenting on children like Jack within the Pragia research facility for biotics, using human beings with autism as VI systems to interact with Geth in Project Overlord, as well as other unethical experiments on humans and aliens. However, Shepard had a job to do, and sadly, the Reapers were the bigger threat. Sticking with Cerberus, Shepard and his team were able to use the Omega-4 relay and get to the Collector base, wiping out their main ship and their human-Reaper hybrid that was being made to take over the galaxy and harvest humans. But after this suicide mission, Shepard left Cerberus. It was time for Shepard to return to the Alliance and warn them of the attack that was only moments away. The Illusive Man was now desperate to take out the Reapers, utilizing all his contacts to try and find a way to finish them no matter the cost. Survival was now what was more important to him and his organization. Here he contacted the Shadow Broker, now being Liara Tazzoni, trying to force her to give over information on how to save humanity from the Reapers and how to ultimately stop them. For years he had been monitoring her progress and saw that she found a lead which involved investigating the Protheans. Liara, not willing to give up that information, came under fire from a Cerberus phantom. However, the Illusive Man stated that these were rogue informants and not his troops. But Liara Tazzoni is unwilling to help the Illusive Man, not really trusting him. He becomes angered and starts stating that the Shadow Broker has become soft and weak, and that is becoming known for the criminal underworld, stating that she needs his help or she will die in the process. With no leads, the Illusive Man was on his own and had no new information on how to tackle the Reapers. Cerberus, however, continued their research on the space station known as the Barn near the desert planet LV-426. Here they experimented on humans, Asari, Krogan and Turians, utilizing Reaper technology and biotics. This allowed them to up their technology once again, as well as their biotic abilities. By 2186, Cerberus had changed their whole image as well as their ideology. The Illusive Man realized that the only way to stop the Reapers was to use their technology to make humanity the dominant force in the galaxy. Here they utilized Reaper technology to indoctrinate any and all civilians to make them completely loyal to the Cerberus army. This helped Cerberus grow dramatically with insane rapid growth. However, it did lead to huge mistrust from everyone else because of their anti-alien stance and their blind obedience to their organization. After discovering ancient Prothean technology on Mars, Cerberus would be 2 steps ahead of Shepard and his team, coming to the conclusion that the only way to stop the Reapers was to using the Crucible to destroy or control the Reapers. Here the Illusive Man could use Cerberus's new technology along with the Prothean research to control the Reapers and allow humanity to dominate the universe, allowing for their survival as well as many other benefits. As Shepard and the Alliance become desperate to find the Prothean VI which could activate the Crucible, they were going to find the remnants of the human Reaper that had been gathered by Cerberus for experimentation. The Illusive Man was doing everything to win this battle. As the battle for Earth commences, the Illusive Man has one final confrontation with Shepard and Anderson, using his mind control to try and influence them and finally stop them from opening the arms of the Citadel so the Crucible could be activated. But in the end, the Illusive Man wasn't successful and his life was at an end. With the death of the Illusive Man, Cerberus was no more, and the organization that rapidly grew over the years exploiting aliens as well as their own for their own expansion under the ruse of humanity's survival had come to extinction because of their own greed and need for being the most powerful race within the known galaxy. While Cerberus continued to experiment on during the Reaper War, trying to wipe out the cure for the genophage and other experiments in the way, in the end, the hero they brought back to life thanks to the Lazarus project would be the cause of their inevitable downfall. Maybe someone will take up the mantle for Cerberus, or maybe humanity will rally behind a universe that is accepting of all races, not looking to put themselves before anyone else. Who knows? But for now, with the death of the Illusive Man, otherwise known as Jack Harper, Cerberus would be gone for good, and their unethical experiments on humans and the other alien races would finally come to an end. And that is the lore behind the dark and elusive organization known as Cerberus, run by Jack Harper, aka the Illusive Man. I hope you enjoyed my take on their origins and how they rose to power, and please, if I did get something wrong, do know I try to make sure I get as much right as possible, and I'm not intentionally trying to manipulate the lore to make it fit my needs. If something's wrong, it's just a slip up. But regardless, I hope you enjoyed the delivery of the story and found it entertaining. That's the goal at the end of the day. If you did enjoy it, please hit that like like button, leave a comment and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to watch more lore videos, then go check out my playlist in the description below. And there's also my links to my social medias if you want to follow me on Twitter, Discord or Twitch. And if you really like this content, then you can become a channel member or a patron to get early access to my latest videos as well as ad-free ones. And speaking of, I'd like to thank my patrons real quick. Big thanks to our big fish Duquesne23, Rhino Head and Ryan Garnham, our sharks Connor and the AVP Man, and our huge megalodons Sinus, JJD896, Wow Such Gaming, Jacob Garcia, and our new guy Arch. Also big thanks to our YouTube channel member, our wise one Jambu, as well as all my subscribers over on Twitch. All your support means the world to me. Thank you all so much. But that is all for now. Thanks again, and I shall see you all in the next one. Cheers.